It's 9:30 a.m. and you know what that means. It means more watches landing at kibblewatches.co.uk. So if you're new here, my name's James. I run Kibble Watches here in Clerkenwell, London. And every single Saturday we release pretty much 12 watches on the dot at 9:30 a.m. So make sure you tune in every single week to see what's coming. Hit the subscribe button if you've not done that already. It just sort of gets you the videos in your feed. Or just check the website. Everything is now on there. So as a lot of you will know, last week we released the new website and I'm incredibly happy with it and the feedback has been amazing. A couple of glitches and bugs here and there, but we're working on them. They should be resolved hopefully by the time this video goes out and the new drop is live. But yeah, really great feedback. The usability and easeability is all there, and this video is actually implemented into each and every single watch, where when you scroll down and click on it, it takes you straight to that watch. So super convenient. Now, if you are watching this video just on YouTube as a weekly thing, which I know some of you do, I appreciate you, thank you. Down in the description, there's a timestamp for every single watch, so you can skip to whichever watch you want to see. There's also a link to the website for each watch as well, so it'll take you directly to that one where you can see all the details, whether it's still available or sold, the price, and everything else you could possibly want is all there. And this week, it's a varied one. As you can see, we've got a Corum bridge, which I'm super excited to bring the first to the website, a very rare Japanese market platinum IWC, classic Speedmaster, crazy Panerai, awesome Vertex, Glycine, Grand Seiko, Rolexes, everything you could possibly imagine. And this is the diversity of stock I try and bring every single week, because at the end of the day, I'm a collector and I wear and enjoy all kinds of different things, and I know a lot of you watching do as well, so I feel like the dealer should hopefully provide that as well. So anyway, in that regard, what is on wrist? I'm wearing a watch that's actually new to me, and I'm really enjoying it. It's not my usual thing. As a lot of you know, I'm a small, tiny vintage guy. I find I go one of extremes. I'm either really small vintage, or I end up going absolutely a bit wild. This is actually a 2025 Lumetech KSA National Nation Day Limited Edition bronze 44mm. Pretty cool, as you can see, with the green dial, all luminous. Really nice bronze. You know, it's very opposite to what I usually wear, and I quite enjoy that, especially as we're starting to get a bit more, well, right now it's raining, but typically we're getting a bit more nice weather. No need for jackets. I can put on the bigger watches, not have a sort of coat or anything bothering it. So yeah, that's what's on wrist for me today. So now that that is out of the way, let's crack on with what you're here to see, and I guess we're going to have to start with this incredible Corum golden bridge, 18 karat gold. This is the mid-size, the one most people want, and amazingly this is box and papers from circa 1988. So yeah, let's take a closer look at this one. Starting this week off with the Corum golden bridge, a watch I have been very interested in and one I've always wanted to get in stock, so this feels incredible, especially to get such a wonderful example in the mid-size with its box and papers, again in 18 karat gold as well. What a very cool watch. As you can see, where it gets its name is the fact that all of the mechanism is on this bridge right here, hence the name Golden Bridge. So the rest of it is just translucent through this faceted crystal on the front and the back. Very cool, very nicely done. Back wind, as you can see, so you have to sort of get in there with your nail to sort of wind it in your fingers. It's a little tricky, but once you get the hang of it, it's all good. And then to change the time, you just pull it out as well, again getting your finger underneath there to do so. You can see the balance spinning away at the top here at 12 o'clock, and the barrel for the mainspring down here at 6 o'clock, and the rest of it, if you catch from the side, just about, it's going to be hard to do from this, but you can see the rest of the mechanism all there. Very cool and beautifully done. Especially with this crownless design, thanks to the case, the back wind and the back set. You got these hinged lugs, or sorry, not hinged lugs, these protruding lugs with bars through there, and this is a replacement strap. This isn't the original, but it does have its original gold-plated Corum buckle, but the watch is in 18 karat yellow gold, as you can see. And what makes this one so special is the fact it's from January 1988 with its box and paperwork. Not something you see often with these watches, especially from this era. So what a great example and opportunity we have here, especially the price we're asking, incredibly fair for the mid-size. This is a reference 13.150.56. And again, it's just a good opportunity, this one. So let's show on wrist and talk dimensions, because the mid-size I think is probably one of the best sizes. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. You can see that just fits the wrist beautifully, and what a cool looking watch, especially the way that glass plays with the lights. and everything being on that single bridge, it really is mesmerizing. So what you're looking at here is 20mm by 33mm lug to lug, only 7.5mm total on the thickness, and 17mm on the lugs right here, tapering down to the clasp. So go check this beautiful watch out on the website today. From there over to something a little more different and just as amazing. This is actually a 1991 Rolex Datejust white Roman Buckley diamond dial, and the case and bracelet has developed this beautiful gold burn where it's just been stored for like 10 plus years recently. And yeah, it's a really great example. So let's take a closer look at this one. From a very unusual Corum to a unusual configuration Rolex Datejust. What you're looking at right here is a gorgeous two-tone Rolex Datejust with its original white Roman Buckley dial. Now it's nicknamed Buckley after John Buckley over in the US, who this dial was basically associated to, and is where the Roman numerals are printed rather than applied in this format. Now this is quite an interesting one because you also have diamonds around on the indices. Again, not something you see often at all. Original tritium hands right there as well. This is just a wonderful example and beautifully preserved. 18 karat gold fluted bezel, gold crown, and gold through the center links on the Jubilee, as you can see. Now, as you can see from this, it looks almost pink gold, and that's just gold burn, which is where the gold oxidizes over time. Now, this can happen for a variety of reasons, but in this case, it's because the watch has basically lived the last 10 plus years sat in a drawer being unused, and that's just oxidized. Now, you can get this taken off with a polish, but this case and example is unpolished, still actually featuring the original sticker on the case back. So we're leaving it as such, but if you do want it polished, we can get that done on request, and it's going to really brighten it up and make it pop. But I really don't think it's necessary. I love a bit of gold burn, especially as we see it here. So this is a reference 16233 from October 1991 with its box and paperwork. Again, not something you see often. The condition is fantastic. The bracelet is incredibly strong. Obviously, you always get a slight bit of stretch, but that is me actually pushing down on the bracelet to emphasize the stretch. That's a really good bracelet from this year. And beating away inside behind that stickered case back, which is very cool, is the automatic Rolex caliber 3135. So this is a workhorse. You know, being the reference it is, you have the sapphire crystal as opposed to the acrylic. So this is kind of the ideal model for someone who wants that vintage charm, but wants a lot of the modern reliability we're used to. Now, obviously, you still get the slightly jangly bracelet, but that's, again, all part of the charm, in my opinion. But let's show this one on wrist and talk dimension. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. This configuration certainly won't be for everyone, but I think if you're a collector of this kind of stuff, you're not going to see many of these around, and that's for sure. This is 36mm by 43.5mm lug to lug, only 11.5mm on the thickness, and 20mm on the lugs with drilled lug holes. This on a brown leather would look amazing as well. So go check this one out on the website today. From there over to a reference you really do not see often. This is actually a 1975 Rolex Oyster Perpetual 14 karat gold, reference 1003. This is a beautiful watch, beautiful example, and priced incredibly well. So let's take a closer look at this one. Now, for a reference you really do not see often, and this is a gorgeous Rolex Oyster Perpetual 14 karat gold. Yes, you heard that right. So 14 karat gold, and this is a reference 1003 with a gorgeous Sigma dial. So the Sigma designates gold on the dial. So as you can see, you've got that very nice gold champagne tone with gold hands and gold indices. Really, really nicely done and matching perfectly, in my opinion, on this vintage style brown leather strap, which is actually a new old stock strap we had line around that we put on there. So you've got an 14 karat gold engine turn bezel, which is super sharp and crisp, really nice lugs and curves, nice signed screw down crown at 3 o'clock, and as we flip it over, you're presented with a screw down case back. There is a generic sticker on there that we left on there. Hallmarks still nice and clearly visible with 14K proudly stated in one corner, as you can see, and drilled lug holes as well. So as I say, a reference 1003, and beating away inside this is the Rolex caliber 1560, and this watch dates to circa 1975. No box or paperwork with this one, but again is priced incredibly well for such a rare example in a rare configuration of 14 karat. Often reserved for certain markets such as the American market, so again not something you see often at all. But let's show this one on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. This watch makes me want to go and enjoy the sun with a whiskey in hand. It just looks incredible. So what you're looking at is 34mm by 39mm lug to lug, only 11mm on the thickness and 19mm on the drilled lugs. So yes, go check out this beautiful example on the website today. From there over to a 60s LeCoultre Memovox tuxedo dial world timer with the caliber 911 in 34mm. This is a wonderful example and it comes with a beautiful box as well. I don't think you're going to find another one. I can't find another one, and this is very special. So let's take a closer look at this one. Okay, and now on to a very beautiful and unusual LeCoultre Memovox, as you can see proudly stated right there on the inner circle, which is also a world time and the alarm function, which we'll show you in a second. But this is a very unusual tuxedo dial layout with that gloss black around the outside with those almost Art Deco Roman numerals. Very, very interesting. And with that classical inner ring, date down there at 3, or over there at 3 o'clock I should say, and then you're presented with two very nice JLC crowns right there, which are signed, and as we flip it over you'll see it's a monocoque design, so stainless steel presented around the outside, including which tool to use to get this open. So it all comes out the front, and these are typically American market models, which is not something you see often. Reference to this one is 2677-910/911, and beating away inside this watch is actually a manually wound JLC caliber K911. And as I say, this watch is from circa 1960s with a original 20mm JLC strap that was on this watch that was squeezed on because this is 19mm, so I've taken that off and put it on a correct size strap. But that 20mm is included in the beautiful period box, which is incredible, almost a work of art on it in and of itself, so be sure to check that out. Now your two crowns, the bottom one is for the time, so you wind and set the time with this hand. The top one is actually for the alarm, so again you wind the alarm to get it going. If you don't want the alarm to go off, you don't wind the alarm. And as you pull out this disc, you can set by going anti-clockwise where you want it to be. So let's set that to 11, and then what we'll do with this hand is come round to 11 and it will trigger the alarm. Let me give it a bit more of a wind just so you can hear how impressive this alarm is, and it goes on for quite a while as well. I'm always amazed by these JLC alarms, but what I'll do is I'll come round to the time and I'll bring it closer to the microphone so hopefully you can hear it loud and clear. Now that could go on for a very long time, so I'm just going to move that away from the alarm time. What that means is there is still charge in the alarm, so as it comes around to 11 again, it will go off. So do keep that in mind. If you're actually setting and using the alarm, it doesn't designate between AM and PM. So if you set it for 2 PM and it goes off at 2 PM and you don't let it fully wind down, or you wind it again, it will go off at 2 AM. So keep that in mind with these models. But yeah, let's show this beautiful watch on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. What a cool looking watch, almost contemporary in its design, right? So this is 34mm by 37.5mm lug to lug, so super short on the lug to lug length, only 10mm on the thickness and 19mm on the lugs. So go check out this beautiful watch on the website today. From there over to a 1950s IWC. This is the caliber 89 platinum Japanese market, so it's 900 platinum. Calatrava as we're calling it. This, again, something you're not going to see often. I've heard about these models, but I've never had one until this moment, and what a beautiful watch it is. So let's take a closer look at this one. Now on to a watch I've been very excited to bring to the website. I've just been waiting for it to come back from the watchmakers, and here it is, back and ready to go, backed with our warranty as usual. This is a gorgeous IWC caliber 89, which is a beautiful movement. Be sure to see the additional photos, which are linked on the first photo on the website. It's down in the corner, you can see it nice and clearly, and you get all of the extra photos, including all the photos of the inner case back, where you can actually see the platinum hallmark as well as the Japanese flag, and we'll talk more about that in a second. But this is powered by the IWC caliber 89, a famous movement used in quite a few models, and this is a reference 10160 from the circa 1950s. A beautiful sort of clean white, almost eggshell dial right there. And then we come onto the case, so you've got a nice polished bezel, polished lugs with brushed on the sides. As we flip it over, you'll see a brushed and polished case back. Now this case back has had some work in the past, that's why it looks the way it does, but it's nice and solid, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. You can wear and enjoy this watch completely. Now inside here, under this case back, if you see the additional photos, you will see the platinum hallmark, which is a 900 platinum, not something you see often at all. And it also has a little Japanese flag right there. This was a Japanese market and Japanese designated IWC in 900 platinum, which is really cool, really rare, and it's very interesting, especially if you're into these kind of things and you like collecting the things that are a little more nuanced. You know, from afar, or someone handling this watch, they probably wouldn't know, because 900 platinum, it isn't as heavy as traditional platinum. So in the hand, it's a bit heavier for sure than the steel counterparts, but not substantially so as you might expect with platinum. So that makes it quite an interesting proposition. From afar and in hand, it could very easily be mistaken as steel. Now that won't be for everyone, but this really is for the collectors out there. You know, you can get a steel example similar to this style and everything like that for probably half the price, but it won't be as cool and as rare as this one. We've got it paired on a nice blue strap and it is ready to go. So let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. Really great proportions and great size. Very Calatrava in its design. You're looking at 34.5mm by 44mm lug to lug. So quite nice long lugs on this. So it will wear great on a variety of wrists. Only 8.5mm on the thickness and a simple 18mm on the lugs. So endless options for this one. So go check it out on the website today. From there to something a little wild. This is a Panerai Luminor submersible 1950 left-handed, the PAM 569 with that awesome sort of waffle dial. This is a beast. It's got a really interesting strap. The box is obviously deteriorated, as these often do, unfortunately, but it's a really great watch and a great example. So let's take a closer look at this one. Now for a Panerai I have never had in stock and probably never seen before, actually, in all honesty, before I got this one in. This is the Luminor submersible left-hander, as you can see by the crown guard, the iconic Luminor crown guard being on the left hand side. It sort of throws you off at first and you keep sort of going to put it on the other way, but a very cool and unique thing with that gorgeous waffle dial and that faux patina throughout. Very, very nicely done. Date over at 9 o'clock, sub-seconds over at 3 o'clock. So again, reverse, and this is a PAM 00569. This one's from December 2014 with its box and paperwork. The box is quite tired. These old Panerai boxes, or older Panerai boxes, I guess this watch is 11 years old now, which is crazy. They sort of don't last very long, so just keep that in mind. But it does come with its box and paperwork and powered by the automatic Panerai caliber P9000. So this is actually paired on a very interesting strap. Another thing I've not seen actually from Panerai is like a canvas fabric strap with a Panerai seatbelt buckle. Let me know down in the comments if you've ever seen one of these, because I haven't. So what you do is you feed the strap through as you would. You just got to make sure this is fully open. I'm trying to do it through the camera lens so I can't actually see what I'm doing. There you go. You want to make sure you go underneath that little lip right there, and then you push through to where you need it to be and seat belt it down. Now it does require a bit of force, but once that seat belt clasp is down, that is not going anywhere. So very, very cool. Super long as well, so it's going to fit a huge wrist if needed. And it does come with a black Panerai rubber strap and no buckle for that, unfortunately, but that is all in the box. Now we haven't had this watch polished, but we can do on request. I think it's pretty good. Obviously you've got some marks here and there, but to be honest, it's a big Panerai. You are going to get some wear on it. And one thing I will say, I always find it with these larger Panerais, this caliber is very, very good. So you can pull out the crown all the way to set the time. If you go in one position, if I can get that one click, you can actually set the hour hand independently, and that's how you set the date. So you go around manually like so. Really nice, easy to use, especially if you're traveling. But what I do find is you really have to make sure you push that crown back in when you close that crown guard, otherwise you end up in the time setting, the hour setting position still. Now from what I've heard and spoke to many watchmakers in regards to this, so you can see that's now set correctly in, it's because of the length of the stem to the movement. It's just one of those things, so you just got to make sure it's clicked fully down. So just want to make that clear. But let's show this watch on wrist and talk dimensions, because it's a beast, but it's cool. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. Now thanks to the left hand crown guard, it's actually not uncomfortable, because if the crown guard was over here for my wrist, this would probably be a bit uncomfortable. You can see that seatbelt clasp, how far I've got to go to make it fit my wrist. This is definitely made for typically people with bigger wrists, because you can see that's coming up right there. But if you have a 7-inch wrist, that's what it will look like on your wrist on this strap. It's a beast, but it is a Panerai and it's a cool one. So this is 47mm by 56.5mm lug to lug. This has to be one of the biggest watches I've stocked. 16.5mm on the thickness and 26mm on the lugs. There are aftermarket strap options out there if you don't want to go to Panerai. So have a look on eBay and anywhere else. But yes, a very cool watch, well worth checking out on the website today. From there over to a Vertex. This is the M60C Aquiline No Date Black DLC 40mm Some of the best lume in the industry, in my opinion, and a really great looking watch as well. So let's take a closer look at this one. Now, it will come as no surprise that I do love a Vertex, being a big supporter of British watch brands. This is definitely one of the best ones out there, in my opinion, with great history dating all the way back to the Dirty Dozen and before. So this is the Vertex M60C Aqualine, no date, 40mm black DLC. As you can see, you've got that very cool stealthy combat look, which is exactly what they're aiming with this model. And you've still got that iconic, in my opinion, iconic 3D lume, which is just insane. Like, it's super thick on the dial, really cool to look at, but it glows incredibly well. And you have lume inside the bezel right there, and you even have lume on the clasp right here. Vertex have been doing that for a little while, and I think it's really, really nicely done. This DLC coating goes all the way through the clasp, as you can see, all the way to the case back, which has that awesome Aqualine right there, proudly stated. Now, beating away inside this watch is an automatic Sellita SW300-1, and this watch is from May 2022 with its box and paperwork. That is in like a Pelican case with some extra goodies, so be sure to check the photos of that out on the website today. Large screw down crown at 3 o'clock. This really is a tool you can use and abuse without having to worry too much, even though it's DLC coated. It's one of those watches I really do think in sort of 5-10 years, if this watch has really been put through the paces and worn and scratched, it's going to look cool. It's going to wear the marks and wear really, really well. That's my opinion anyway with a watch like this. But let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. There is something really cool about an all black watch. I don't know what it is, but it just looks amazing. So this is 40mm by 49mm lug to lug, 14mm on the thickness and 20mm on the lugs. So go check this one out on the website today. From there over to an all-time classic. It's the Omega Speedmaster 42mm Hesalite. This is the now discontinued generation with the older style bracelet, older movement, that kind of stuff, but it's still a fantastic watch. And at the prices these are, I think they are hard to beat. Under £4,000, you're getting yourself a ton of watch. So let's take a closer look at this one. Now, for an Omega Speedmaster 42mm Hesalite, so that is the plastic crystal version with the solid screw down case back. Personally, my favourite of the bunch, there is the sapphire sandwich, of course, which is where you've got the sapphire on the front and the back, but I think this combination is the best for me. Black aluminium bezel, really nice black dial, and that iconic Speedmaster layout with perfect symmetry straight through the centre. Really, really nicely done. You've got a signed crown at 3 o'clock with your pushers, as you'd expect, with start, stop and reset, all protected by this subtle crown guard, which again is iconic to the Speedmaster with the twisted lugs. This is a reference 311.30.42.30.01.005. Thank you, Omega, for the extra long references, but I'm starting to learn some of them, like this classic Speedmaster Hesalite, which is quite sad really, more than anything. This is the discontinued model, so it does have the older style bracelet with the 3-link with the polished in the center, with the brush going through it. Very, very nicely done. These are obviously bulkier bracelets than the newer one. You have a push button clasp, which you can see still has a sticker on it. The bracelet looks like it's just really been stashed away and not really worn on. The watch has been worn, so it's obviously been worn on straps instead. Signed screw down case back right there with all the NASA stuff we expect. Very nicely done. And being away in size, the automatic Omega caliber 1861. So this watch is from circa 2020. It does come with its box and paperwork and the extra goodies. So let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. As you can see, it wears very nicely, and the Speedmaster is one of those watches that looks great on anything. So play around with straps, bracelets, aftermarket bracelets by Uncle Straps or Forstner. There's so many options out there that you can really play with and change the look completely. So this is 42mm by 48mm lug to lug, 14mm on the thickness right there, and 20mm on the lugs. So nice and easy. Go check this one out on the website today. Now on to the 2021 Breitling Top Time Deus. I butcher the pronunciation every time. Leave me alone, I know. Limited edition 41mm. This is a beautiful example. We just recently sold the cream dial with the blue. This is now the more classic, if you will, with the black and the pops of orange. A fantastic looking watch. So let's take a closer look at this one. And now on to a cool Breitling Top Time. They are definitely killing it, in my opinion. They have been for a few years now. They had sort of a wobbly period, in my opinion. But for the past, I would say 5-6 plus years, probably longer actually, they have definitely been back on track, releasing some absolute cracking watches, and some of the more recent releases have been brilliant as well. And it's good to see because I love Breitling and I think they're fantastic. But this is their A23310 reference, powered by the automatic Breitling caliber 23. And this specific model is from March 2021 with its box. It does come with all the extra gubbins, so it's got a really cool big massive book, a nice brown leather wallet. It doesn't have its original paperwork unfortunately, but it does have its original delivery note. It's just it was never delivered unfortunately to the gentleman with the paperwork, or at least not that he can recall, but he had it since new and he's got everything there, so it is what it is unfortunately. But you've got a nice sign crown at 3 o'clock, your classic start, stop and reset with this lovely white dial, black and pops of orange with that electric bolt seconds hand for the chrono, and the iconic top time hands as well. It's on this nice perforated but not fully perforated, which is quite cool, rally style brown leather with a signed buckle right there. And then we flip it over, you're presented with a very cool case back. These always look really scratched to death, but they're never actually that bad in person. They just look terrible on photos and videos, but it's because it's all polished and you've got that graphic right there, so again it draws your eyes inwards. But yeah, a really great example, great model, and priced incredibly well. So if you're after one of these, this is a good opportunity. But let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. Big fan of how this wears, and I think it looks brilliant as well. You can see on my wrist, you are looking at 41mm by 51mm lug to lug, 14mm on the thickness, and some of that is in that domed sapphire crystal, so keep that in mind, and 20mm on the lug, so endless options. But I think this strap combination goes perfectly, so go check it out on the website today. From there over to one of my favourite modern Grand Seikos. This and the GMT version are my favourite. This is the 37mm Elegance SBG W231G, manually wound, beautiful. Let's take a closer look. Now on to this Grand Seiko. So this and the Elegance GMT, the slightly larger and thicker version, some of my favourites from Grand Seiko. The classic design, that eggshell dial, and the finishing is exactly what you'd expect from Grand Seiko, and I think the values are stupendous on these models. So you've got that really nice polished case with those beautiful angles, sign crown at 3 o'clock, and as I say, that eggshell dial. This is the reference SBGW231G from December 2020 with its box and paperwork ready to go. Just compared on its original Grand Seiko strap with its lovely buckle. This is again one of my favourite buckles. The typeface and the way it's done is lovely. As we flip it over, there we go, you're presented with a very attractive exhibition caseback showcase in the manually wound Grand Seiko caliber 9S64. Now, something to keep in mind with this model, it pretty much winds forever, so you don't know when you're fully wound. It's one of the things that you sort of keep an eye out for on manually wound watches. If it winds forever, it usually means the mainspring is broken or there's another issue, whereas that's not the case with this watch. It just gets fully wound and slips the power, so you can never fully over wind it. You do feel the tension start to get a bit different, so I guess you sort of know you're nearly there. But what I'd say is before you put it on, just give it a good wind and then off you go wearing it, and then do the same again the next day. That's the best way to do it. But let's show this one on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist, really great proportions, and what a damn good looking watch. And again, one of those watches that looks great on a variety of straps, browns, blues, is surprisingly good. So this is 37mm by 44mm lug to lug, only 11.5mm on the thickness and 19mm on the lugs. So go check this one out on the website today. From there over to a Furlan Mari. This is the Sage Green Special Edition Arabic numerals from 2025, and it's unworn like new. So let's take a closer look at this one. Now on to the Furlan Mari Special Edition Sage Green with those Arabic numerals in stickered and unworn condition, as you can see. So we'll keep this one nice and quick. That is the sticker over the crystal right there. You've still got a very, very clean case back and the battery keeper in there, because this is a mecha quartz movement, which means when you start the chronograph, it has a beautiful sweep and it flies back. And that is the Seiko caliber VK64. Now this watch is from 2025 with its box and paperwork on its original strap. I believe it comes with 2 straps, but again, check the listing for more details. And this isn't a model I believe they make anymore, so a great opportunity to pick one of these lovely watches up at, in my opinion, a very great price for what you are getting. Buckley is very attractive as well, so let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go, just rested against my 7-inch wrist because I don't want to fasten that up and to crease the strap too much, even though it does have to go on the cushion when being shipped, but hey ho. This is 38mm by 46mm lug to lug, 11.5mm on the thickness and 20mm on the lug. So if you're after a very beautiful vintage Patek or vintage Movado, Mido, all those kind of Francois Bourgeois cases. If you're after one of those style watches, this is definitely the one to pick up. So go check it out on the website today. And last but by no means least, we've got a Glycine Airman 1212 automatic 40mm. These are ridiculous value for money, under £500. You're getting yourself a really cool watch with incredible history as well. So let's take a closer look at this one. Now, for a watch that offers incredible value with history and heritage, that is the Glycine Airman, and this is the 1212 model, as you can see, proudly stated in red right there with this grey, blue, blacky dial. It's very hard to describe. It's almost got a gradient to it. It's very, very attractive, very nicely done, especially on its original strap right here, and it's just hardly been used. You know, it has been worn, but very, very lightly, so you've still got that nice brushing and polished effect. The double crown right here, which we'll show in a second. As we flip it around, you can see right there. Exhibition case back showcasing an automatic Glycine caliber GL224. And I won't bore you with the reference to this watch because it's incredibly long and you can go see it on the website. But what you've got is your classic two hands, your running seconds, date over there at 3 o'clock, and a screw down crown to alter and change all of those things. Now you have got a rotating bezel, but as you can see right now it doesn't move. That's because you have to unlock the bezel using this crown. So you rotate it anti-clockwise and it pops out slightly. You are now in free flow mode where you can move this crown exactly where you want it to be, and then I'm going to try and align it back up right there to 12, and then you screw this crown back in like so, nice and tight, and then that crown is not going anywhere. Very nicely done. Signed Buckley as well, I forgot to say. And this one's from July 2017 with its box and paperwork. So let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. Very, very comfortable and a very good looking watch, especially with that dial. I can't quite make it out what it is. Black, grey, blue, it's got a bit of everything going on, very nice. 40mm by 48mm lug to lug, 11.5mm on the thickness, and a larger 22mm on the lugs with drilled lug holes. So go check this one out on the website today. So there's the 12 watches on the table this week, some really incredible watches. I look forward to hearing down in the comments as always, what is your favourite from this week's drop? I've got a feeling the Golden Bridge and possibly the Speedmaster are going to be people's favourites. Obviously the Rolex here as well. Maybe even the Platinum IWC. I think there really is something for everyone here. And as always, I look forward to hearing what is your favourite. I can't really choose, to be honest with you, so I will leave it down to you guys. But some really great pieces, and next week we're already working on that week's drop. Again, some amazing stuff coming there, including a classic Rolex Datejust and a Rolex Explorer, as well as some nice Zenith and an Anal Dane as well. Some really great, interesting, quirky pieces as always. So I look forward to seeing you all again next week for that drop, 9:30 AM on the dots. And be sure to check out the new website, have a little play around. We've got a new brand directory, we've got a vault where I showcase some of my watches. This isn't all of them, and I will add a new watch onto there every couple of months probably to sort of freshen it up and keep something coming in as and when things appear as well. So yeah, thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you all again next Saturday. Take care.